Part 109. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 1082. A place of unknowable darkness. My eyes are destroyed. The voice in the darkness was extremely gloomy, saying, I obviously saw that lamp, but what was destroyed by it was not even noticeable to me. Is he stronger than you? Did he take action? There was a hint of fear in these words. But the monotonous voice from the throne of darkness said, he knows nothing about swordsmanship. As for your eyes, maybe they weren't destroyed by someone. What do you mean? He knows nothing about swordsmanship. Didn't someone destroy my eyes? Could they destroy themselves? The voice in the darkness seemed angry. On the dark throne, a monotonous voice said, although I didn't look at that world like you, but I was connected with his mind. Do you know what he thought when he saw my swordsmanship diagram? The voice in the darkness said. How? There seemed to be a sense of disappointment in the words on the dark throne, saying. He didn't even notice the intention of the sword. He regarded all of my true sword drawings as ordinary carvings and chiseled them even more. Hearing this, the voices in the darkness had not sounded for a long time. Could it be that your Deo body is really that useless, and you really have no practice? The voice in the darkness was simply confused, saying. But, how did my eyes get destroyed? The voice from the dark throne said. He is indeed a useless person. He has nothing left in his mind except the life of a mortal. As for your eyes, maybe I should congratulate you, they were well damaged. Hearing this, the voice in the darkness became angry and said. Congratulations. Well ruined. Is this still human language? The voice from the dark throne said. Have you not noticed that the lamp of origin has been lit? It's just that it's not the fire of white mist that can illuminate the darkness, but black flames. Should I congratulate you? The lamp was lit, burning with black flames. Hearing these words, the voice in the darkness was suddenly startled and said. What? Then, in the darkness, there seemed to be a pair of huge dark eyes, staring at the sky and the earth. Yes, black flames. The lamp of origin was ignited, and what was ignited was a black flame. The voice in the darkness seemed shocked and said. Who did this? What's going on? It murmured, the lamp of origin contains two origins according to legend, and can ignite two kinds of flames, white mist and black mist. Back then, those 12 people came to resist the darkness and died. Their tribesmen used the power of the white mist fire to illuminate their bodies. The white mist fire was extinguished here. Its murmurs revealed the truth from eons ago. At that time, the 12 ancestors of the ancestors resisted the darkness, and their bodies and souls disappeared. The tribe of the ancestors poured the fire of white mist into the corpses of the 12 ancestors of the ancestors, turning them into sparks and reincarnating continuously, but the darkness was afraid of them. The fire of white mist was extinguished. That's why the darkness pays so much attention to the last bodies of those 12 people. They are the last fire of white mist. If the lamp of origin is rekindled, intolerable to darkness. But what is burning now is the fire of black mist. Isn't the dark side of the lamp of origin sealed by you? The voice in the darkness spoke towards the dark throne. On the dark throne, a voice then sounded. Do you still remember the prophecy of the god of Tiao? The fire of darkness frightens the magpies, and the wick is hidden in the black mist. The lamp of origin will ignite the fire of black mist. When the 12 black fires are ignited, the black source that I once sealed in the lamp of origin will reappear. And those who ignite the black fire can obtain the source of darkness, and you are the one who ignites the dark fire. Of course you should be congratulated. These words are so plain, but in the darkness, there is a heavy breathing sound for an instant, as if the existence in the darkness is also nervous because of these words. This is a secret. Back then, the great god jumped into the darkness and before disappearing, he left a prophecy. The fire of darkness scares the cold magpie, and the wick is hidden in the black mist. Now, it has actually come true. On the dark throne, a faint voice continued. The lamp of origin is the mother of life and the father of death. The white mist is the oil that burns the fire of life, the darkness is the core that burns the flame of destruction. Back then I sealed the source of darkness in the lamp of origin, and now it's been opened, and ignited by you, everything is fate. This can also prove that my body is indeed not worthy of attention, even the burning of the fire of darkness cannot be stopped. He is very weak, and the fire of darkness is also ignited. It is a double blessing for you and me, isn't it? This is a secret, related to the origin of heaven and earth. Even the existence in the darkness doesn't know much. It only knows that the light is related to the one on the throne of darkness. Source and darkness, what I have been worrying about is a spark that will start a prairie fire. The fire of white mist ignites and illuminates the darkness. At that time, the source may be bulldozed, and the forbidden world will undergo extremely terrifying changes. But now, the one on the dark throne tried to test, but found that his other body was nothing more than a mortal. Moreover, the lamp of origin lit up a black flame. The source, what else is there to fear? It is indeed a double happiness. 12 lamps of origin, one missing, is safe. The voice in the darkness spoke slowly, and there seemed to be an indescribable sense of relaxation and excitement in its words. Without one, a spark that will start a prairie fire is just empty talk. It doesn't matter whether he is immortal or not, that lamp will even continue to derive the source of black mist, turning the entire forbidden world into a vast ocean of darkness. The lamp of origin, the dark side, will produce the source of black mist if it continues to burn. The voice on the dark throne whispered. The trajectory of fate has been started. The 12 lamps will ignite the fire of darkness one by one, and the sealed source of darkness will eventually appear. When the time comes, will those entities behind you jump out? The voice in the darkness said coldly, "Do you think I will tell you?" The being on the dark throne said, "Do you think you deserve a beating?" In the darkness, there was suddenly silence, as if the source of the sound had disappeared. The being on the dark throne smiled dumbly and said, "No need to run, it's just a joke, why should I hit you? Now we are, our own people." After a long time, there seemed to be a whisper from the dark throne. "I died once, I have forgotten too much, I can no longer remember everything, the only purpose of living seems to be to feel the consciousness of the Tao body, haha. Although you are only a mortal, I hope you live a better life. After all, in this darkness, being able to occasionally experience some happy feelings, is the only fun. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert." Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 1083. Shortly after. Somewhere in the quiet black sky. The endless darkness swallows up all gaze and exploration, leaving nothing to be found. A dark door stood in the darkness, with billowing black mist pouring out of it. In front of the dark door, there suddenly appeared a human figure, which seemed to be formed from black mist and had taken form, kneeling in front of the door. The black spirit pays homage to the Lord. The black mist humanoid spoke respectfully and said, reporting to the Lord, "The lamp of origin has lit up the black fire, what the great God Jump said, has come true. Lord, it should be the black spirit that lit the wick. My black smoke, a secret eye, lit the fire of darkness and became the wick." There was excitement in the voice. There seemed to be some mysterious force flowing in the dark door. In an instant, it seemed as if all the cause and effect of time had been passed before this mysterious force. The fire of black mist has indeed been ignited, the observation of cause and effect is indeed related to you. If you hadn't spread black smoke in the forbidden world, this black fire should not have been ignited. In the dark door, a whisper sounded, and the cause and effect of everything was already clear. Hearing this, the black mist humanoid named Hei Ling became even more excited and said, My lord, do you need your subordinates to fetch the fire of black mist? I will offer it to you. He Ling knew very well that although he had lit the lamp, the things involved in the dark fire were beyond his ability to spy on. Only the beings inside the door are eligible. The mysterious voice said calmly. When the 12 lights are lit, the source of darkness can reappear. It's still early, don't worry. He Ling nodded, but there was a hint of worry on his face and said, Master, the great master, had foreseen all this? Is this a plan set by him? The voice inside the door said. You're not stupid. The ability to ignite the fire of darkness does have something to do with him. After all, if it weren't for him, the fire of white mist would not be extinguished. The source of darkness in the lamp of origin would have been burned out long ago, and the forbidden world would have become a land of life that we cannot set foot on. Naturally, there would be no black mist fire ignited today. Hearing this, He Ling was shocked. Unexpectedly, all of this was actually related to the great master Tiao. He's helping us. But at the same time, He Ling was very confused. After all, listen to this, if there is no great master, they will not be able to deal with the forbidden world now. There was a faint sneer behind the door. Help. He just wants to save people. That person poured out his own white mist origin and the dark universe source taken away from the dark sky to refine the lamp of origin. Lightning the fire of white mist can certainly incinerate the source of darkness and turn the forbidden world into a pure land of life that none of us can set foot on, but it is tantamount to burning his life. When He Ling heard this, his mind was filled with questions. The time he was created was not that long compared to the entire length of time. These contents were difficult for him to understand. However, he roughly understood that there was a powerful person who refined the lamp of origin and ignited the fire of white mist, which could make the darkness unable to do anything. And the one who jumps to the great God doesn't want to see the most powerful person sacrifice himself, so he extinguishes the fire of white mist. But, in an instant, it thought uneasily. Isn't the person who refines the lamp of origin the same one who sits on the throne of darkness now? He actually has such a big background. He once refined the lamp of origin and was saved by the great God. But how did he die? There seems to be endless historical fog among them, which is difficult to decipher. He couldn't help but said, Lord, are you talking about the person on the dark throne? He always makes us a little uneasy. Who is he? Since you have already killed him, why let him reincarnate into darkness instead of completely destroying him? Behind the door, the voice said calmly. It's him. Everything about him, you don't need to ask too much. You just need to know that he will not lie. If he lies, we will naturally notice it. He is an eye, and we are looking at his undead eye. Hearing this, the black mist figure was even more shocked. The existence behind the door, even mentioning the person on the dark throne, seems to be something he doesn't dare to look down upon. Moreover, for the being behind the door, what is unobservable between heaven and earth? Can't listen? However, he did not look directly at the undead body, but monitor it through the one on the dark throne. Is the existence behind the door unable to, or dare not look directly at that body? It caused huge waves in its heart. However, he suddenly remembered that the undead body existing on the dark throne wasn't immortal. He said bravely, Lord, we have asked the man on the dark throne to test his other body, but his other body seems to be immortal, and his realm seems to be that of nascent soul. Hearing this, there was a sudden silence behind the door, and then a frightened voice suddenly came, saying, You tested him. Are you crazy? The mysterious voice inside the door seemed to be filled with deep fear, and he said at the top of his lungs, If his body wakes up, it will be over, it will be over. Do you know what you are doing? Are you crazy? When He Ling heard this, he was immediately shocked. What is going on? Isn't that undead body immortal? Why are the beings inside the door, filled with fear? Could it be? Wrong. That's not immortal at all. Hiss, have you been deceived? At this moment, it suddenly had the urge to hide directly for trillions of years. My lord, I am aware of my guilt. I am aware of my guilt. It kowtowed in fear, and the sound of banging, banging, banging was heard in the darkness. And there was silence in that door for a long, long time. It seemed that he had just suppressed his emotions and said slowly, fortunately nothing has gone wrong yet. Remember, don't explore that body again. Especially, don't hurt the people related to him, definitely not. When He Ling heard this, he nodded hurriedly and said, He Ling knows it, He Ling must remember it. It was as if it had received an amnesty, and asked anxiously, My lord, how about you, subordinate, hide first and hide for hundreds of millions of years. What a joke, now it vaguely understands that the undead body may be very scary, so why does it have the courage to hurt people related to that body? I just want to lie down. No. In the dark door, the voice said. You have to stare at the fire of darkness. Then the fire of darkness will continue to ignite, and the source of darkness will gradually manifest. There were some powerful seniors among us who were sealed by that person, and my ancestors were among them. The dark universe will attract them. Find them. Hearing this, He Ling's face turned ugly, but he still gritted his teeth and said. He Ling obeys. After He Ling left. This door has not disappeared, the long river of cause and effect is emerging, as if it has been read over and over again. At that time, he was already invincible under the dark dome and suppressed for eternity. Even the dark universe was taken away by him and turned into the lamp of origin. If the white mist fire of the origin lamp burns for one era, then the forbidden world will be born with rules of heaven and earth that can devour the darkness, and become a pure land that even darkness dares not touch again. I didn't expect he could even sacrifice himself, but in order to save those ants, he gave up everything and dispersed his origins. The lamp of origin was not rekindled, and he even died in the darkness. Behind the door, a whisper sounded, murmuring. Perhaps we should be grateful that he still has people he cares about, and an island, otherwise, the Black Dome may have been destroyed, and I don't know how many dark stars will be left. Today's forbidden world has long become a pure land of life that even the dark dare not touch, and we have long since perished. His last body was only to protect those people, so as long as he doesn't target the people he tried his best to save and don't provoke him, he won't wake up. At least, before we get the dark universe that was taken away by him and refined into the lamp of origin, we can't target him or kill the people around him. Otherwise, once there is no concern for his existence. The sound behind the door stopped suddenly, as if he didn't dare to imagine the situation, and the dark door disappeared completely. It took me 2 days to get these 2 chapters stuck. Today's update will be early, see you tomorrow. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 1084. Xuanhuan. Hank Mountains. What the hell is this lamp? In the mountain forest, Xuanhuan looked at the ancient bronze lamp in his hand and felt a little hairy. This strange black flame has no temperature at all. Instead, it continuously releases some kind of dark energy. Fortunately, these dark energies were absorbed by his little black tower and then spit out, so they did no harm to him. All this seems to be related to the man in the tower. Xuanhuan thought. When he picked up the lamp, there was the sound of something breaking free in the small black tower on the first floor. Then, the man in the first floor of the tower disappeared. The men on the first and second floors all look exactly the same. Xuanhuan thought for a while, gritted his teeth, and decided to see what was on the third floor. After all, although this little black tower didn't harm him, it was still a little weird. I cautiously approached the small black tower in the Taoist landscape. I saw that the first 3 floors of the current black tower were as textured as black crystal. The black mist was uncertain and looked very mysterious. But going up to the 4th floor, it's still rusty and mottled, as if it's decayed. Xuanhuan first approached the 2nd floor. He confirmed whether the man on the 2nd floor was still there. I pushed open the tower door on the 2nd floor and took a look inside. The black platform in the tower is still there, and the man who seems to be sleeping is still lying down. Xuanhuan hurriedly closed the door. The 2nd floor is safe and sound. It seems that only the young man on the 1st floor has left. Then, he approached the 3rd floor with great anxiety. Pushed open the door of the 3rd floor tower. The 3rd floor of the tower was opened, and there was only a black Taoist platform inside the tower, and on the Taoist platform, there was a young man lying on it. The young man's aura was extremely extraordinary, as if he was in a deep sleep, but there was a calmness in his brow that could swallow all the waste, and a calmness that would rule the world forever. Xuanhuan just glanced at it and felt his hair rising. He hurriedly exited and closed the black tower. Really, exactly the same. Xuanhuan unconsciously stretched out his hand to wipe it, and found that his forehead was already covered with beads of sweat. From the 1st floor to the 3rd floor of the small tower, there are the same young people. What about the 4th floor, the 5th floor, and even the 9th floor? Xuanhuan had a feeling that his evil fate might be caused by the young man imprisoned in this small black tower. Because at first glance, the young man looked very evil. Moreover, who is this young man? Exactly the same, 9 identical people? Could it be 9? This is unlikely. Moreover, there will probably be some differences among the 9 treasures in one child, but Xuanhuan is convinced that the young people in the first 3 levels are definitely the same person. Could it be that the same person died 9 times and left 9 corpses? He thought of this. 9 corpses are used as firewood, and 1 life is used as fire. At this moment, Xuanhuan suddenly seemed to hear some kind of whisper. Who the hell is talking? Xuanhuan was frightened. He looked around hurriedly, but found that there was silence around him. Are you hallucinating? But, I clearly remember it, 9 corpses are used as firewood, and 1 life is used as fire. A narrow escape from death? Xuanhuan vaguely felt that he might have guessed correctly. Is there really a guy who died 9 times and put his body inside his own steps? And then, escaped death once? Forget it, I can't think about it anymore, I can't think about it anymore. Xuanhuan simply ignored it. Anyway, for now, the existence of this small black tower was only good for him. He quit the Tao Jingdi. As long as you can avoid that evil little mountain village, there is nothing to be afraid of in this world. He strengthened his faith, held his head high and walked toward the outside of the Hank Mountains. Now, in Thunder Emperor City, the order came out. In 1 month, the Thunder Road Festival will be held. As soon as these words came out, the world was shocked. The Thunder Dao Grand Meeting is about to be held again. It's not yet the time that comes once every 10 years in this world. There must have been some changes. Is it related to Hank Mountain? It's possible. I heard that this time, not only Lei Dao, but also Yazhu, there will be masters from the Hutu Emperor Court. They may select the legendary Destiny Taoist and grant the inheritance to many great emperors. The news spread. Especially the legend of Tianming Daozai has completely aroused the hearts of the world. It is said that there are geniuses in this world who can practice many kinds of Taoism at the same time. Once selected, they can become the seed figures of several Taoisms at the same time. Such people are the destined Taoists. The Sun of Destiny, previously only existed in the three continents, Xuanhuan continent and Genyuan continent, because only the Water Emperor, the Earth Emperor, and the Gold Emperor were willing to cultivate the Sun of Destiny. After all, each emperor's Taoism has its own unique inheritor. It is rare to share the same inheritance with other Taoisms. As long as you are chosen as the Taoist Son of Heaven, it means that you have been recognized by many great emperors, and you will rise to the top in one day, just around the corner. This time, Lei invites the powerful men from Yuzhu to come. Does it mean that Lei Emperor will also participate in cultivating Tianming Daizai? The world is hot. For the young generation of Kaiwanzhou, this is the best opportunity. Tianming Daizai means supreme inheritance, resources, glory, and status. Throughout the ages, only one destiny Daizai would appear every tens of thousands of years, but each one had grown to a very terrifying height. Go to Thunder Emperor City immediately, all elites must go. As long as a disciple of destiny appears, our section will ascend to heaven. Many sects and geniuses in Kaiwan continent have set out. Outside the Hank Mountains. Hold on, don't allow anyone to leave. Lei Dongyun personally led the team and blocked the exit of Hank Mountain Range. The Eye of Darkness appears in the Hank Mountains, so people who enter the Hank Mountains are likely to be exposed to the Black Mist. People who have been exposed to the Black Mist are the best candidates for the path of parasitism. In fact, the Sons of Destiny that major inheritances search for, in a sense, have nothing to do with talent or qualifications. It's about the origin. Cultivators who are born with dark origins or have been affected by Black Mist are the best choices. Parasitism, in a sense, it is the top Tao founders parasitizing the weak cultivators in the Tao landscape. When darkness comes, there will always be some people who can survive, and those who are already close to darkness, or those who have been affected by the Black Mist, have a greater chance of surviving. As long as the parasitized cultivators are still alive, those founders will have a chance to reappear. This is the true meaning of the path of parasitism. However, Lei Dongyun didn't know that much. He only knew that the order he received was to find people who had been in contact with the Black Mist. As long as it is this kind of person, no matter how poor his qualifications are, all the major sects will throw resources at him to help him grow. Somebody is coming. Someone spoke and pointed forward, only to see an old man running out from the mountains like crazy. Ha ha, okay, I have entered the Tao, I have entered the Tao. As he ran, he laughed crazily. This is, Xuanhuan. The old thunder servant Lei Qing on the side said in shock, is he crazy? However, Lei Dongyun's expression changed and he said, Destiny Daizai, keep him immediately. Suddenly, a Thunder Master took action, leaving Xuanhuan behind. Lord Thunder Envoy, he, has gone crazy. Lei Qing spoke with some confusion. What do you know? Lei Dongyun said coldly. What about a madman? A madman can also become a child of destiny. Even if you are a lunatic, you have seen the Black Mist at least. If the darkness really falls, maybe not even a lunatic in the Emperor can survive it. Therefore, he must be taken away. At worst, he will have someone to serve him, and heaps of resources can turn the lunatic into a peerless master. Immediately afterwards, some more people ran out, but they were all crazy. Even Lin Yuhao came out with a silly smile, but it attracted Lei Dongyun's attention, because he discovered that Lin Yuhao's origin was closer to darkness than others. He didn't know that there were dark rot slaves living in Lin Yuhao's Taoist landscape. It's a pity, I'm unconscious. If I can be revived, I can be called a perfect disciple of destiny. Lei Dongyun looked at Lin Yuhao with a look of regret. Immediately afterwards, many more lunatics came out, dozens of them, and all of them were arrested by Lei Dongyun. In fact, for him, this is already a huge reward. It should be noted that it is difficult to find someone who has been exposed to darkness and survived. Even the Water Emperor, Earth Emperor, and Gold Emperor who have gone further on the path of parasitism may not have found dozens of descendants. There is another person there, he is so angry. At this time, someone suddenly exclaimed. Lei Dongyun immediately looked up and saw a middle-aged man walking out of the mountain forest. His skin was dark and dark, as if he had been wrapped in some rotten black cloth. Get him. Lei Dongyun spoke immediately. He had a feeling that this guy seemed to be darker than other Tianming Taoists. Suddenly, a group of people gathered around. You, who are you? Why are you blocking me? And seeing so many people coming to kill, Xuanhuan was immediately shocked. Hey, this guy is not crazy. My lord, he is not crazy. These strong men who came out of the Pure Land of Thunder Road were all surprised. Lei Dongyun was even more shocked when he saw this. When he arrived in front of Xuanhuan, he looked up and down and was suddenly shocked. This, Tianming Daizai, the perfect Tianming Daizai. Lai Dao can be saved, the prophecy of Master Tiao can be broken. It can definitely be broken. He has quite a position in the Lai Dao Emperor's court, so he knows some top secrets. The Thunder Path has no way, the imperial court collapsed, and I still look for Kunpeng in Yuzhu. This is the third sentence of prophecy. Now, I have found this perfect way of destiny. It is very likely that the prophecy of the god of Tiao will be deciphered, there will be a path for thunder, and the imperial court will not collapse. When Xuanhuan heard this, he had a bad premonition for no reason. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 1085. Now. Li Fan took Tuguyuking to the area of the Terror Beast Mountain Forest. They left the Hank Mountains the fastest, because there were no obstacles along the way. Going down the mountain was just like playing. Therefore, they had already left before the people from Lighting arrived. Fan Yao Yao and Fan Peiming also followed behind them. We are destined to meet each other. You might as well go back to the village and have a quick meal before leaving. Having arrived at the place where he met Fan Yao Yao and the others, Li Fan spoke. Hearing this, Fan Yao Yao and Fan Peiming were both very surprised. This boss actually invited them to dinner? This is definitely a supreme opportunity. Thanks, thanks. Both of them were so excited that they were speechless. Immediately, the group of people entered along the terrifying beast forest. Along the way, Li Fan met the animals he saw when he left the village, a snow-white crane standing not far away, docile and kind, and a colorful fox, cute and cute. Li Fan didn't realize it, he just smiled, feeling that it was destined. He immediately waved goodbye and said, "If I see you again next time, I'll paint you a picture." When the white crane and colorful fox heard this, they started to tremble in the distance. They decided in an instant, to move and run away overnight. Tuguyuking had long been used to it, but Fan Yao Yao and Fan Peiming both had complicated expressions. No wonder they had a safe journey through this mountain forest. It's really because of this boss. However, they quickly accepted this reality in their hearts. The main reason was that even the forbidden beasts in the forbidden Hank Mountains were extremely afraid of this boss. The magic cranes in this place were of course well behaved and cute. Not long after, they had returned to the small mountain village. Seeing the familiar small mountain village, Tuguyuking's eyes felt inexplicably warm. In fact, the time away from home was not too long this time, but when they left, they were all prepared to say goodbye to each other. Now, as the master returns, emotions naturally arise. It was like a child who was prepared to die and returned home alive. Came back. He whispered. Go back to the village. Li Fan took them back to the village. As soon as I entered the village, I heard a barking dog. Not far away, in the second uncle's yard, a big black dog ran over, wagging its tail, and purred. It was a flattering sound. When they saw this big black dog, Fan Yaoyao and Fan Peiming were both shocked. They have a feeling that this big black dog seems to be very scary, definitely not weaker than those in the Hank Mountains. This boss, do you want to raise forbidden animals for fun when you have nothing to do? Day hey, long time no see. Dugu Yuking also felt a sense of reunion after a long separation, and greeted her cordially. Xiao Li, are you back? The second uncle also came over on crutches, with a smile on his face and said. I'm just telling you, you can't throw it away. As he spoke, he looked at Dugu Yuking and said. Yuking, where are the others? Dugu Yuking said. They all went to other places, and haven't come back yet. The second uncle nodded, it's okay, I'll be back sooner or later. Second uncle, why did this dog escape to your house? Li Fan asked doubtfully. The second uncle smiled and said. This big black dog is very smart. I have nothing to do these days. I play chess with myself every day, and he is watching next to me, he is so good. In the past few days when you have been away, I have already thought of ways to defeat you. When Li Fan heard this, he smiled and said. Okay, let's go back and play chess with you, second uncle. I'm going back. Immediately, they headed towards the small courtyard. Along the way, Fan Yaoyao and Fan Peiming became more and more shocked. This small mountain village is so extraordinary. Even a blade of grass exudes a formidable aura of taboo. Just a handful of soil gave them a feeling that surpassed the most magical nine heavens breathing soil in the legend. The water flowing in the gutter had an extremely strong forbidden aura. They even felt that the water in the gutter was not as bad as the legendary Pure Land of the Water Emperor. The forbidden aura emitted by the chickens and ducks passing by was even more terrifying than those in the Hank Mountains. Finally, before arriving at the small courtyard. Wu or leisurely garden. These four words exude an indescribable true meaning of the Dao. Just looking at these four words, a true meaning of the Tao was evolving in the scene between the two of them. The transformation of rules from nothing to something, from something to nothing, is evolving again. During this evolution, the breath in their bodies suddenly changed and turned into wind. At this moment, the brother and sister both broke through to the Changfeng realm. These four words are so powerful. It's so scary. Fan Peiming spoke in shock. In this small mountain village, opportunities are everywhere. Compared to this place, the Hankai mountain range is nothing like a forbidden area. This is the real forbidden land. No wonder he can be the master of the ancestor. What should we call him, the master of the ancestor? Or something old? Fan Yaoyao also admired Li Fan more and more in her heart. When Li Fan saw this, he couldn't help but feel a little proud. Unexpectedly, these two children also knew a little bit of calligraphy. Can they see the level of his own calligraphy? He didn't think much, just opened the door and walked into the small courtyard. Meow meow, meow meow meow. As soon as he came in, a little kitten that was sleeping on the peach tree stone table had already ran out, meowed at Li Fan, and rubbed his feet vigorously with its head, which was extremely clingy. Li Fan smiled, picked up Xiaobai, and rubbed the cat's belly skillfully. Well, it was as soft as ever. At this moment, even the carp in the pond seemed to be extremely happy and jumped out of the water. The chicken that was swimming around and pecking at the corn also raised its head and clucked a few times towards Li Fan. Even the peach trees seemed to be blowing by the wind, and their branches were swaying gently. Is this a cat? How do I feel? Fan Peiming was extremely shocked. He sent a message to Fan Yaoyao. Sister, do you still remember that when you were a child, you went through a box at home and found a picture of a white tiger? When Fan Yaoyao heard this, she immediately thought of it and said. I remember, that picture, Grandpa said, it depicts the most powerful white tiger beast in the fire-raising era, which once protected the common people, it is the only one in the world. She was even beaten for this matter. That picture, the entire Fan family cherishes it extremely. Look at this cat. Fan Peiming spoke anxiously. Fan Yao Yao looked at the white tiger in Li Fan's arms. Suddenly, a look of shock flashed across her big eyes. It looks like that white tiger, but it's a cat. Listen, she's meowing. Fan Yao Yao was puzzled. The cat raised by Li Fan is really very similar to the white tiger in the picture collected by the Fan family. I asked, is there a possibility that this big boss treats the white tiger like a cat? Fan Peiming, on the other hand, spoke tremblingly. He simply didn't dare say it. This is too scary. In the legend, even in the age of raising fire, the white tiger was a supreme divine beast, with a terrifyingly powerful background. However, this big boss seems to be even more terrifying. Even the ancestors of the ancestors are his disciples. At this time, Gong Ya also came out. When she saw Li Fan and Dugu Yuking, she was very happy and said, "Master, you are back. Very good. You, what do you want to eat?" Gong Ya, go ahead and do it. Li Fan also walked over with the cat in his arms, sat down and said, "The weather is quite hot, sour soup dumplings with rice, right? The weather is hot, so this one is cooler." Gong Ya nodded and immediately went to the kitchen. Not long after, a pot of cold and sour soup and corn rice came out, served with molded tofu and dipped in water, which instantly aroused the appetite. "Both of you, please take a seat." Li Fan, on the other hand, looked at Fan Yao Yao and the others. When the two of them heard this, they were both flattered. How could this big guy be so polite? Fan Li. "Ah no, how should we call you? No, you." Fan Yao Yao spoke incoherently. Li Fan smiled and said, "My name is Li Fan." Fan Yao Yao said, "Ah, it turns out your surname is not Fan." Fan Peiming said, "Greetings, Senior Li. Anyway, it's definitely not wrong to call me Senior." Senior, Li Fan was not surprised when he heard this title. After all, Fan Yao Yao and the others had just seen the words Wu Xianting written by him. And because of their good calligraphy, Fan Yao Yao and the others are not the first to call themselves seniors. "You're welcome, there is only a little rough food in the mountain villages, are you too used to eating?" Li Fan spoke. He was quite worried. The rice dumplings in sour soup were coarse grains, far less sophisticated than those in the city. After hearing this, both of them hurriedly said, "Eat, get used to it." What a joke, how can you not get used to this opportunity given by the big boss? Li Fan smiled and said, "That's good." Gong Ya had already served food for everyone, and Li Fan demonstrated. Pull rice in sour soup. Just soak the rice in cold sour soup. The weather is hot, so it is very pleasant to make rice dumplings with sour soup. Following Li Fan's instructions, the two of them made sour soup rice and ate it. The taste of the sour soup rice was excellent. Suddenly, the hot weather seemed to be forgotten. The whole body feels comfortable, as if the Taoist intention reaches the soul. In the blink of an eye, in the emptiness of their Taoist scene, what was originally a wisp of breeze instantly turned into a ball of wind. From the Hinayana stage of riding the wind, it has evolved to the middle vehicle stage. The Hinayana does not fall, the middle vehicle does. Moreover, they haven't stopped yet, their realm is slowly moving towards Mahayana. When the strong wind rises, you can fly in the void of Dao Jingdi. It should be noted that even the ancestors of the Qingjian sect whom they wanted to become their disciples before were only around the level of Changfeng Mahayana. Now, they have achieved it so easily. Both of them were surprised, looked at each other, and then agreed. Eat like crazy. After finishing a bowl, I was still looking into the pot eagerly. Li Fan was startled for a moment. These two siblings have good appetites. Give them another bowl. Good night. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 1086. Comfortable. After eating 3 large bowls of rice with rice, Fan Yaoyao and Fan Peiming both looked satisfied. 3 big bowls of rice with rice turned into endless Taoist power, allowing their cultivation to directly reach the Fueyao realm. Fueyao is the last stage of Changfeng realm. The 5 qi contained in the land of nothingness turned into small winds, medium winds, and strong winds. Until now, they have turned into soaring swaying winds that can carry cultivators in the Taoist landscape and fly to the sky and escape from the earth. Only in this way can we take the 9 heavens breathing land and create a place to settle down in the land of nothingness. Reaching this level, even in Yaiwanzhou, can be considered a true master. The previous sword ancestors of the Qing sword sect may not have had such strength. Thank you, Senior. Fan Peiming's face was filled with gratitude and he said anxiously. I wonder, Senior, if there is anything we can do for you. He knew very well that the opportunity he and others had received was unparalleled. Even if his cultivation and status were nothing in front of such big men, he must at least have the heart to repay his kindness. When Li Fan heard this, he smiled slightly and said, I have a small matter, I would like to ask you two for help. Hearing this, Fan Peiming and Fan Yaoyao were both excited and said, Senior, please tell me. Li Fan said. Li lived in this village and had nothing to do. He once accepted 10 disciples. Well, Dugu Yuking was one of them. He learned calligraphy. In addition, the eldest disciple Nanfeng is good at playing music, and the second disciple Zi Ling is good at painting. He introduced them one by one, but listening to his introduction, Fan Peiming and Fan Yaoyao became more and more solemn in their hearts. How come this boss's narrative is so similar to the legendary 12 ancestors? In addition, there is a little sister named Xuanhuan who likes to read, and a girl named Zhang Shui. He briefly introduced Xuanhuan and Zhang Shui. After listening, Fan Yaoyao and Fan Peiming were completely shocked. This big boss, couldn't he have accepted all the 12 ancestors of the people as his disciples? Fan Peiming felt dumbfounded. If this was really the case, it would be terrible. Who is the senior? It should be noted that the ancestors of the 12 ancestors are the founders of this world. Their last incarnations have attracted attention from all parties. It is said that even the high and untouchable imperial court and the legendary darkness, all attach great importance to it. However, the sparks that everyone in the world is looking for are all gathered around the senior. Is he calculating the heavens and arranging the plan for eternity? It's so terrible. Fan Yaoyao looked at Li Fan with even more respect. In addition, there is another person. Li Fan said. A girl likes to wear white skirts. She can do everything. She can play chess, play the piano, and draw. Her name is Yongzi. Listening to his narration, the two of them were so shocked that they were almost numb. Could this be the end of the world in myths and legends where people fight into the darkness and establish a world? The brother and sister looked at each other, and they both remembered a legend. Back then, Emperor Zhang led all the powerful men in Emperor Zhang's court to kill into the darkness, but everyone died and no one came back. Darkness is coming, and catastrophe is coming to the world. But there is a woman called the End of 10,000 Paths, who breaks out of a small world and rushes into the darkness. There are even legends in the world that she established a world in the darkness. The woman who is called the End of all Paths. That is, the woman who leads all paths. Moreover, he has achieved everything to the extreme and can be called the strongest in the world. There were even people in the world who thought that her strength was definitely not inferior to that of Emperor Zhang, which meant that she, at least a heavenly emperor-level figure. However, there are too few records about her, and there are only fragments of historical data in some particularly ancient inheritances. Even Fan Yaoyao and Fan Peiming only heard a little bit from the ancestors of the clan, and their only impression was that the 10,000 paths ending man could do everything. Now Li Fan's narration made them subconsciously think of it. The main thing is that Li Fan has even accepted their ancestor Dugu Yuking as a disciple, so there is nothing they dare not think about. Otherwise, most people would say this, they would never dare to think of Wandao ending. Li Fan continued. Some time ago, they went out to do some small things together, but did not come back. Now it seems that they are all looking for ancient lamps like Dugu Yuking. So, I would like to ask you two to help keep an eye on it. If there is any news, please let Li know. After all, the world is so vast, and Li Fan felt that if he was left to look for it alone, he would never know when he would find it. The method of picking leaves to find people, according to the systematic description, can easily reveal secrets and lead to karma that should not be tainted. Leak or not, cause or effect, Li Fan didn't care at all. He mainly felt that this method was unreliable and the element of luck was too high. Besides, my own flying skills are rather rubbish, and I can only fly a few hundred meters at a time, so it would be great to have a few more people to help me. Hearing this, Fan Peiming and Fan Yaoyao immediately understood. Looking for the 12 ancestors of the people, and the end of 10,000 paths. Fan Peiming felt a vague feeling of passion in his heart. An ant like me could actually participate in Senior Li's eternal plan. He's excited. Senior Li, don't worry, we will do our best. Li Fan nodded and said. Okay, then we won't keep 2 more people. Yuking, you send them off. Dugu Yuking nodded and immediately left with Fan Yaoyao. Walked out of the small courtyard and walked all the way out of the village. Old ancestor. Fan Peiming looked at Dugu Yuking with a complicated expression and said. What Senior Li is talking about should be the ancestors of the 12 ancestors and the end of 10,000 paths, right? Although he had already guessed it, he wanted to confirm it again. Dugu Yuking nodded and said. They should be in other continents, looking for the light of origin. In Dugu Yuking's heart, she was not in a hurry anymore. Since the master had thrown away the lamp of origin, they had nothing to think about. They just followed the master and waited for the source. Anyway, a spark that started a prairie fire has no way out. Moreover, the master has no plans left, and since he is not panicking, it is enough to show that the other brothers and sisters are probably not in danger at the moment. Your top priority now is to strengthen yourself. Dugu Yuking said. Only by strengthening yourself can you better find others. Only in this way can you be useful when our division fights against darkness. He spoke calmly, but Fan Peiming and Fan Yaoyao were both shocked. Fighting darkness. Is this the intention of Senior Li? Saying these 4 words is enough to make the Emperor tremble. It should be noted that the battle against the Heavenly Emperor was so high-spirited and shocking in the past and present, but it ended in death and the collapse of the imperial court. Since then, no one in the world has dared to talk about war. It can be said that only the survivalists and surrenderers are left. The backbone of the people in the Forbidden World was completely interrupted with the destruction of the Zhantian Emperor court. Now, this Senior Li wants to fight against darkness. However, after thinking about it carefully, Fan Peiming instantly understood that this Senior Li could accept the ancestor of the people as his disciple. He was the only one in the world who had such courage. Fighting the darkness, not surprising. Conquer the darkness. Fan Peiming and Fan Yaoyao couldn't help clenching their fists, feeling that the blood in their bodies seemed to be boiling because of these words. Don't worry, ancestor, we will go all out. They said goodbye to Dugu Yuking immediately. Not long after, they arrived at Bianli City. Bianli City is a small border town in Xuanhuan State, and the Fan family is one of the 4 major families in Bianli City. At this moment, in Bianli City, Fan family, in the main hall. Haha, your Fan family has no choice this time. All the resources in Lachin here must be given to you if you are willing or unwilling. A middle-aged man sat in the Fan family hall with a sneer. He said proudly, "My son, Zheng Shisha, has been chosen by the Lei Dao Emperor Court as the son of heaven. The adults from the Emperor Court are already on their way to Bian Leichen. Now, let you hand over all the resources of your Fan family, and then, get out of Bian Li City. Otherwise, die." You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 1087. The main hall of the Fan family. Zheng Shisha's father, Zheng Yu, spoke in a cold voice, full of threats. The four major families in Bian Li City have always been fighting. The Zheng family and the Fan family have always been at odds. Just now, the Zheng family received news that Zheng Shisha had walked out of the Hank Mountains, and was subsequently identified as the Taoist son of destiny by the people in the Lei Dao Imperial Court. Moreover, people from Lei Dao Imperial Court will come to them to add more people to see if there are any other suitable people. This made Zheng Yubing overjoyed. Originally, their greatest hope for Zheng Shisha was to enter the Qingjian sect, which would already be the Guang sect's glorious ancestor, with green smoke rising from the ancestral tomb. Unexpectedly, my child actually crossed the Dragon Gate and entered the Lei Dao Emperor's court. This is a supreme honor. Not to mention this small Bian Li city, even in Xuanhuan state, their Zheng family's prosperity is just around the corner. Therefore, he immediately came to his old enemy Fan's house. Take this opportunity to capture the Fan family in one fell swoop. In the hall, Fan Qingyun, the head of the Fan family, sighed deeply. There was a sad look on his face. Because, his son and daughter, Fan Peiming and Fan Yaoyao, also went to the Hank Mountains. He had already heard that the people from the Lei Dao Emperor's court were guarding outside the Hank Mountains, and anyone who could come out alive would be chosen as the son of destiny. However, there is no news about Fan Peiming and Fan Yaoyao. This means that Fan Peiming and Fan Yaoyao are probably. His heart was extremely heavy. Good. He raised his eyes with difficulty and said, "From today on, we are willing to give all the resources and assets of the Fan family in Bian Li City to the Zheng family. The Fan family, exit Bian Li City." He made a difficult decision. Hearing this, an old man next to him looked ugly and said, "Master, you are going against the decision of your ancestors. Have you forgotten? Our ancestors said that we cannot leave Bian Li City and must wait here." Fan Qingyun turned pale when he heard this and said. He also said that if Ming and Yao Yao go to the Hank Mountains, they will definitely come back alive and bring great opportunities. What's the result? Now, Ming and Yao Yao are. The more he talked, the angrier he became, saying. He also said that he could live another life, but in the end, he was lying in a coffin. But he asked us to guard Bian Li City. Whoever wants to listen to him should listen to him. I will never listen again. Hearing this, the old man next to him was also speechless and choked, because what Fan Qingyun said was true. That's it, let's leave immediately. Fan Qingyun is too sad and doesn't want to say more. However, Zheng Yubing suddenly said. Also, you have to give me the ancestral belongings of your Fan clan. He knew that the biggest reason why the Fan family was able to gain a foothold in Bian Li City was some ancestral artifacts. It is said that some of the Fan family's ancestors even participated in the Battle of the Emperor's Court. Hearing this, Fan Qingyun looked a little complicated and said. Those things have been buried with our ancestors. Hearing this, Zheng Yubing said unexpectedly. The ancestor of your Fan family is finally dead. He was all surprised. Because Fan Changshao, the ancestor of the Fan family, is a particularly capable master, and is considered a legend in Bian Li City. Fan Changshao had survived 4 generations of family heads, and he was still alive. Fan Qingyuan is the 5th generation head of the family. Right. Fan Qingyuan said with a sad face. The ancestor's last wish was that all the ancestral belongings should be buried with him. We, our descendants, must not be unfilial. However, Zhen Yubing sneered. Everyone is dead, why do we need burial objects? The Zheng family is going to decide on those things for digging graves. Hearing this, everyone in the Fan family had ugly expressions. Digging a grave? This is absolutely a shame. For a dead man, are your Fan family going to go against our Zheng family and the Lei Dao Emperor court? He spoke coldly. Hearing this, Fan Qingyuan looked gloomy and said, Okay, if you want to dig a grave, then come with me and I will take you there. Zhen Yubing smiled and immediately left the hall with everyone in the Zheng family and Fan Qingyuan. Fan Changshao's tomb is built in the hill behind Fan's house. If you want to dig, just do it yourself. Fan Qingyuan pointed towards the grave and said. However, I advise you to think twice. If something happens, don't regret it. Hearing this, Zhen Yubing sneered and said. Regret? I regret not digging earlier. Do it. Immediately, several experts from the Zheng family stepped forward and began to level and dig up the stone tomb. The coffin is out. Everyone spoke. Zhen Yubing stepped forward immediately. He looked at the coffin in the tomb and sneered. Fan Changshao, you are finally dead. He kicked the coffin lid away hard. But, that is this moment. In the coffin, a ray of light suddenly burst out, and an old man suddenly attacked. Wrong. Zhen Yubing's face changed drastically, and before he could react, one of the old man's big hands suddenly grabbed his throat and slammed him to the ground. At the same time, Fan Qingyuan and others moved instantly, with the forbidden power surging, directly attacking others. Fell into a trap. Save the head of the family. Fan family, are you crazy? At this moment, everyone in the Zheng family panicked and took action with all their strength. However, the Fan family's preparations were too overwhelming. In addition, Zhen Yubing, the strongest, had been captured by the ancestor of the Fan family, and the others had no power to resist. In an instant, all the masters of the Zheng family were captured. Fan Changshao, you actually plotted against me. Zhen Yubing was blocked. He was choked by an old man and struggled to speak. There is anger in his eyes. The old man in front of him was in ragged clothes and skinny, but there was a twinkle in his old eyes and he said. You want to attack my Fan family, are you worthy of it? I've lived for so many years, who hasn't seen someone like you, a stupid kid like you, cheating someone with not only 1,000 but also 800? Are you just a stick? That's called arrogance. Hearing this, Zhen Yubing became even more furious and said. The people from the Lei Dao imperial court are already on the way, and my son has become the destined disciple of the Lei Dao imperial court, you are seeking death. However, Fan Changshao still had disdain on his face and said. The imperial court of Thunder Dao? The imperial court of Thunder Dao is about to collapse in this life, and you are just pretending to be here. Who do we, surnamed Fan, fear? Next to him, Fan Qingyuan also walked over and said. Ancestor, should I kill him? There was a murderous intent on his face. Hearing this, Zhen Yubing suddenly panicked. He could feel that the Fan family seemed to really have no scruples. Moreover, the ancestors of the Fan family, Fan Changshao and Fan Qingyuan, these two guys, I have completely misjudged, they are both ruthless people who don't care about their lives. It's up to you, hey, cough, I'm going to die of old age. Fan Changshao suddenly coughed a few times, feeling out of breath, and said. I have to go back and lie down, Piaoming and Yao Yao haven't come back. Don't call me. If you call me again, I will die. As he spoke, he went back to sleep in the coffin. Get the coffin board back and cover it for me. Fan Changshao spoke. Fan Qingyun, on the other hand, had a complicated look on his face. He lifted the coffin board, walked to the coffin, and said, "Ancestor, can Peiming and Yao Yao really come back?" Worry was written all over his face. Fan Changshao said, "Don't worry, the one who danced the great god is right, ahem." Fan Qingyun said, "Then, where did the great dancer go?" Fan Changshao. "He should be dead." Hearing this, Fan Qingyun almost vomited blood. He is so unreliable as a master. My own children are probably in danger. Thinking of this, his eyes couldn't help but be filled with heartbreak and sadness. Seeing this, Fan Changshao was a little ashamed in his eyes. He held Fan Qingyun in his hand and said shamefully, "Qingyun, my whole life is for my family, you must understand me and forgive me." He died before his ambition was fulfilled. My ancestor is really going to go this time. Fan Qingyun wiped his tears and said, "Ancestor, don't worry, I understand you." Then he cried and closed the coffin lid, nailing it tightly with big nails. "Qingyun, your coffin lid is a little tight, ancestor, I can't breathe." In the coffin, Fan Changshao's words seemed to be very weak. Fan Qingyun said, Did the ancestor say something? I must be hallucinating." Then he got up and left the tomb. "Dad, we are back." At this time, suddenly, two figures from the other side approached quickly. Astonishingly, it was Fan Peiming and Fan Yao Yao. Fan Qingyun's eyes suddenly became excited. Peiming and Yao Yao are actually not dead. Before he could react, there was a bang behind him and Fan Changshao jumped out of the coffin, as if he had tricked his body into hiding. He ran wildly and arrived in front of Fan Yao Yao and Fan Peiming. He said with great excitement, "You are finally back. I never expected that the guy who danced the great dance didn't lie to me. Okay, great, great. Good night." Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 1088. Ancestor, why are you not dead? Seeing Fan Changshao, Fan Yao Yao couldn't help but speak. As soon as they arrived at the family, they heard that something had happened at home and that the Zheng family was going to dig their ancestor's grave, so they hurried over. After all, their ancestor was almost dead many times. Then he successfully killed several family heads. Even the brother and sister were discussing in private whether the ancestor could get rid of their father Fan Qingyun. As a result, the ancestor Fan Changshao was still so alive and kicking. Almost dead, but not completely dead yet. If you can't come back, you will be dead. Fan Changshao was very excited and said, "How's it going? What did you get from going this time?" Fan Yao Yao said, "Well, it's okay. I have reached the Fueyao realm." As she finished speaking, her Taoist scene emerged, and in that place of nothingness, there was a terrifying swaying wind rising into the sky. The same goes for Fan Peiming. Seeing this, Fan Qingyun, who had just walked over, was also shocked and said, How did you do it?" It should be noted that even their ancestors are only in the Hinayana stage of riding the wind. It took countless years to achieve this. It is extremely difficult to take a step forward in the void of Dao Jingdi. However, Fan Peiming and Fan Yao Yao have only been away from home for a few days. From Naban, directly to Changfeng Fueyao. It's terrible. On the other side, Zhen Yubing, who was blocked, also changed his face and was stunned. Why are these two people back? Shouldn't he have died in the Hank Mountains? Moreover, why did Fan Yao Yao and Fan Peiming not go crazy? He knew that although his son Zheng Shisha survived, he went crazy. Fan Yao Yao and Fan Peiming were actually intact and even soared into the sky. How can this be? Fan Yao Yao said. It's just, I went to the Hank Mountains and ate a lot of food along the way. That's it? Hearing this, Fan Qingyun was stunned. Did he eat a lot? That was the Hank Mountains, a forbidden area with a narrow escape from death, but Fan Yao Yao seemed so relaxed when she talked about it. It must be a genius treasure, it must be a genius treasure. Fan Changshao rubbed his hands, his eyes shone, and said, My dear grandsons, didn't you bring some back to my ancestor? He was just waiting for Fan Yao Yao and Fan Peiming to come back with good things to save his life. Otherwise, his lifespan would really be gone. When Fan Yao Yao heard this, she suddenly felt a little shy and said, Ancestor, I forgot. But Fan Peiming said, Ancestor, I still have half a bird's nest and some honey. As he said that, he took out half a bird's nest and a jade bottle. There was also half a bottle of turbid yellow honey in the jade bottle. This was exactly what the two of them ate when Li Fan led them forward in the misty land of the Hank Mountains. At that time, Fan Yao Yao threw away what he couldn't eat, but he was much more cautious. Although he was a little tired, he still kept some on his body. Hearing this, Fan Changshao suddenly became excited, his eyes shone, and he said, Good stuff, good stuff. He took the honey and half of the bird's nest, looked at it carefully, and said, This bird's nest can be called a forbidden treasure. This honey is the essence of hundreds of forbidden flowers. It is extremely extraordinary. Fan Qingyun was also very shocked and said, These two things are enough for our Fan family to achieve great development, and even revitalize our clan. Ancestor, we should put these two things together immediately and digest them slowly. I don't think anyone can do more than just one drop of honey every year. After hearing this, Fan Changshao immediately said, One drop? Or every year? Can you stop being so picky? With that said, he opened the bottle and took a big sip. Good honey, I feel like I can live another 1,000 years, ha ha, ha ha ha. His eyes were simply shining. At this moment, his withered face actually had a certain rosy color, and the effect was very extraordinary. Ancestor, you are wasting your money. What Ming and Yao Yao brought back after almost dying, how can you drink so much? Fan Peiming said. Dad, we have already eaten, you can just eat. Fan Changshao said. Did you hear that your son is more filial than you? Fan Qingyun looked helpless and said. Waste. With that said, he chewed half of the bird's nest raw. You won't even leave a bite for me. Seeing this, Fan Changshao's eyes became anxious. Fan Qingyun said. Don't panic, ancestor, I'm just giving you a taste. Fan Changshao gritted his teeth and said. They all say I'm a cheat, but I think you're even worse than me. Ancestor, stop talking, let's hurry up and refine. Fan Qingyun looked serious. Fan Changshao didn't say much, both of them immediately refined these elixirs. The elixir turned into energy and submerged into their Taoist landscape. The cultivation of both of them improved instantly. Fan Qingyun moved from the 5th level of Nejin to the Hinayana of Changfeng realm. Fan Changshao has entered the middle stage. Why, it took me taking this bird's nest to break through to a new level. Fan Qingyun was a little confused. Fan Changshao also looked at Fan Peiming and others, with some uncertainty in his eyes. Why do I feel like I can't get the benefits of eating these? Fan Yao Yao and Fan Peiming are both Fueyao. However, after they ate it, they jumped to a small realm. Although being able to leap to a small realm is already a great opportunity, and they can continue to grow as their bodies digest it in the future, this more or less makes them doubt themselves. Could it be that their qualifications are too poor? Not even as good as two young descendants. However, Fan Peiming said. Oh, we are not eating this upgrade. We are eating rice dumplings with sour soup. That is the good stuff. This bird's nest and bees are not very effective. Hearing this, Fan Changshao suddenly breathed quickly and said, "Then, where's the rice dumplings with sour soup?" Fan Peiming said, "Eat it." Hearing this, Fan Peiming suddenly looked complicated and said, "You ate all the good food yourself and let me, ancestor, eat this. You are using this to honor your ancestors. You are so filial to me." Even Fan Qingyun is depressed. "It's okay to forget that my daughter is unreliable, but I didn't expect, my son is also very unreliable. Dad, ancestor, when we went out this time, we met." Fan Peiming spoke next. He was eager to tell Fan Qingyun and the others about Senior Li and Patriarch Dugu. "Wait." However, Fan Changshao suddenly stopped him and said, "It's broken, someone is coming from lighting." As soon as he finished speaking, he saw thunder rolling and lightning flashing in the sky on the other side. "Dark clouds are gathering and moving here." And on the land ahead, a group of people quickly appeared. They rode a tall electric wildebeest, a group of about 10 people, all of them extraordinary. Among them, there was a young man riding a green buffalo with an indifferent expression. "Where is Zhen Yubing?" Among this group of people, the leader, a middle-aged man, calmly rode forward. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 1089. Where is Zhen Yubing? The leader of this group asked. Zhen Yubing, who was restrained, was very surprised when he saw the scene and said, "Lord Lighting, I am here, I am here." The middle-aged man riding on the electric horned horse glanced at Zhen Yubing, frowned slightly, waved his hand, and a blue arc of electricity suddenly shot out, making Zhen Yubing feel relaxed. He got free and ran over in a hurry, saying, "Sir, it's them, they actually want to harm me, they are disrespectful to Lei Ting." He pointed at everyone in the Fan family fiercely. The middle-aged man also looked over with an indifferent expression. "Huh? What is that?" Suddenly, he saw the honey in Fan Changshao's hand. "Bring it." He spoke coldly. When Fan Changshao saw this, he said respectfully, "Please accept it, my lord." With that said, he handed over the honey. This honey comes from the Hank Mountains." The middle-aged man took a sniff and his expression suddenly changed. "Such a strong forbidden aura, it definitely comes from a forbidden place like the Hank Mountains. You went to the Hank Mountains." He immediately stared at Fan Changshao and others. Fan Changshao looked frightened and said, "Sir, how can I go when I'm so old? It's my two descendants who went there, looking for them, it's none of my business." He pointed at Fan Yao Yao and Fan Peiming. Suddenly, Fan Qingyun was choked up. He looked at his ancestor faintly and thought to himself that you may have sold too decisively. Fan Yao Yao and Fan Peiming were even more confused. "Sir, the Fan family just tried to kill me, and they should be punished for being disrespectful to Lei Ting." Next to him, Zhen Yubing spoke. The middle-aged man drank. "Shut up. Did you know that these two people are the disciples of destiny?" Hearing this, Zhen Yubing was stunned. When did Fan Yao Yao and Fan Peiming become the Taoists of destiny? How can this be? If Fan Peiming and Fan Yao Yao become the Taoist disciples of destiny, then what advantage does the Zheng family have? He suddenly felt fear in his heart. The middle-aged man looked at Fan Yao Yao and Fan Peiming and said, "You went to the Hank Mountains, why didn't we wait for you outside the mountains?" Fan Peiming was a little uneasy, but he still bit the bullet and said, "We take the path down the mountain, so we need to be quick." They didn't dare to say anything related to Li Fan at will. Those things are too taboo. If spread, the world will be shocked, and it may destroy the overall dark plan of Senior Li. Take the path down the mountain. The middle-aged man's eyes were as sharp as daggers, and there was obvious disbelief in his eyes. In that kind of forbidden area, there are no alleys or paths. Moreover, everyone else is crazy, why are these two not crazy? Just the two of you. Fan Peiming said, yes. The middle-aged man was still waiting to ask more questions. Suddenly, the young man riding a green buffalo next to him smiled slightly and said, Lord Lei Xiao, there is no need to ask too many questions. Hearing this, the middle-aged man looked at him and said, Master Shuijing, what do you mean? Even though Lei Xiao was born in Lighting, he still treated this young man with courtesy. Without him, the other party, comes from Yuzhu, Waterway Imperial Court. Ever since the Thunder Emperor sent down his decree, inviting Yuzhu to participate in this Lei Dao event, the Water Dao Imperial Court has sent many people. Shuijing looked at Fan Peiming and Fan Yaoyao leisurely and said, since these two people came from the Hank Mountains, they must be the Taoist disciples of Tianming, no need to ask too much. Lei Xiao frowned, but he didn't say anything more. The Water Emperor is an ancient emperor who has gone further on the path of parasitism. Even the Thunder Emperor has to follow the footsteps of the Water Emperor on this road. Therefore, they still have respect for the Waterway Imperial Court. However, I think you two are extraordinary, and I want to have a discussion with you. How about it? However, Shuijing opened his mouth to Fan Peiming and Fan Yaoyao. Fan Peiming and Fan Yaoyao were both hesitant. They were somewhat unsure of this person's intentions. Since this young master said, then you should try it. But Fan Changshao said with an eager and somewhat flattering face. He can give you guidance, which is a blessing our Fan family cannot ask for. Immediately, Fan Peiming and Fan Yaoyao nodded. Seeing this, Shuijing nodded and said, you two, please take over. As soon as he finished speaking, his figure suddenly disappeared from the place. He has appeared in the sky, and under his feet, there is madness rising into the sky. Then, in the scenery of Shuijing Road, a picture was reflected, as if there was a Kunpeng giant beast, spreading its wings and coming to fight everything in the world. He used the Kunpeng method to kill Fan Peiming and Fan Yaoyao. Sister, go away. Fan Peiming's expression changed. He felt the terrifying power of the opponent's attack, and immediately stepped forward, preparing to use the Taoist meaning of Weiview in the Taoist scenery to break this method. He believed that although Kunpeng's method was terrifying, he was not afraid of the Taoist intention running through it. But, at this moment, an old voice sounded in my heart. Be defeated by him. It was Fan Changshao's voice. Hearing this, Fan Peiming felt a chill in his heart. He did not act without moral purpose, but went all out. Bang! Immediately, Fan Peiming and Fan Yaoyao, who was not far away, flew out upside down and landed hundreds of steps away, vomiting blood. Shuijing had also landed, and there seemed to be a trace of disappointment in his eyes. Am I overthinking it? He whispered, smiled slightly, walked forward and said. I accidentally hurt you too, please take this elixir. He took out 2 pills and handed them to Fan Peiming and Fan Yaoyao. Fan Peiming and Fan Yaoyao were waiting for rejection when Fan Changshao said excitedly. Why don't you thank this young master quickly? This young master is really a great man, with infinite grace. Fan Peiming and Fan Yaoyao had no choice but to take it, saying. Thank you, sir. Shuijing smiled and said. Just call me Shuijing. You two are destiny disciples. You must attend this Lei Dao event. Otherwise, it will be a pity. After saying that, he turned around and got on the green buffalo and said. By the way, your injuries are quite serious. I will give you another elixir during the Lei Dao festival. By then, you will be able to recover. After speaking, he looked at Lei Xiao and said. Master Lei, shall we go? Lei Xiao narrowed his eyes, but still nodded and said. Good. He waved his hand and said. Take the Zheng family members and return to Lei Emperor City. They came here this time just for the Zheng family. Zheng Shisha has become one of the Taoist disciples of Tianming, and the relatives related to Taoist Tianming and the Emperor of Lei Dao will also try the method of parasitism. Parasitism, just to survive, even if there is a little hope, it will not let go. Zheng Yubing looked very ugly. He didn't expect that he didn't destroy the Fan family. In fact, he could only watch the Fan family grow stronger. However, he had no choice but to leave with Lei Xiao and others. Watch them leave. This Shui Jing is so vicious. What he gave to Pa Ming and Yao Yao seems to be poison. Fan Qingyun looked extremely ugly and said, "He's threatening us. If Pei Ming and Yao Yao don't go to the Lei Dao event on time, they won't get the antidote." Fan Changshao said leisurely. "Poison? Is it useful?" Pai Ming and Yao Yao, after eating the sour soup dumplings and rice, they are probably invulnerable to poison. At least his poison is ineffective. His old eyes flashed as he looked at Fan Peiming and Fan Yao Yao. Fan Peiming and Fan Yao Yao did feel that the pill seemed to be of no use. Fan Qingyun said, "Ancestor, we set up such a big plan just to go to the Pure Land of Thunder Road." He was a little confused. Before, the ancestor asked Fan Yao Yao and Fan Peiming to go to the Honkei Mountains to start. Fan Changshao was sure that Fan Peiming and Fan Yao Yao would return safely. Moreover, when the Zheng family came to visit, they directly attacked the Zheng family. It was just to create noise, let people from Lei Dao Emperor's court discover Fan Peiming and Fan Yao Yao, and create an opportunity for them to go there. Fan Changshao said leisurely, "Don't worry, since both Peiming and Yao Yao are back, everything about the prophecy of Master Tiao has begun. Good night." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 1090. There are some things I should tell you. Fan family, in a secret palace. Fan Changshao spoke, and for the first time, an unprecedented solemnity appeared in his old eyes, saying, "You need to keep these things in mind, they are related to the past and future of our Fan family." Fan Qingyun, Fan Yao Yao, and Fan Peiming also became solemn. The Fan clan were once the bloodline of our ancestors. Fan Changshao spoke solemnly and said, "Our ancestors are one of the 12 ancestors who created the Forbidden World. Countless years ago, the ancestors lit the lamp of origin and built the Forbidden World. Originally, if the lamp of origin continued to burn for one era, then the Forbidden World would become a pure land of life that even darkness could not set foot on. Because the lamp of origin contains the purest source of white mist in the world, as well as the source of darkness, the fire of white mist burning the source of darkness will cause the Forbidden World to create rules of heaven and earth that will destroy the darkness." At this point, he sighed and said, "Unfortunately, darkness strikes, and the 12 ancestors have to go to darkness. They're all dead." Speaking of this, Fan Qingyun's face was shocked. He didn't expect that the Fan family actually such an origin. Only Fan Changshao knows about these things in the entire Fan family. "It turns out, we are the bloodline of our ancestors," he murmured and said. Later, in order to save the ancestors used the fire of white mist to illuminate the corpse of the ancestors, right? He remembered the legend of the lamp of origin. In order to resist the darkness, the ancestors of the 12 ancestors died. In the darkness, the tribe of the ancestors used the power of the fire of white mist to illuminate their corpses, turning them into sparks all over the sky, reincarnating. It wasn't until some time ago that there were rumors in the world that the last incarnations of those 12 people had reappeared in the Forbidden World. However, Fan Changshao shook his head and said, "That's only part of the truth. The ancestors extinguished the fire of the white mist, but they were actually deceived. Back then, when our ancestors went into the darkness, they already anticipated their own demise. Therefore, they specifically asked the clansmen not to extinguish the flames. They even left a seal so that the clansmen could not touch the ancient lamp at all. There is a master of dancing. He came to the tribe. He unlocked the seals of the 12 ancestors and extinguished the white mist fire. He said it was to save the ancestors, but we later found out, that was not his real purpose. He extinguished the fire of white mist in order to extract the origin of white mist. According to the guesses of my ancestors' ancestors, those origins of white mist should belong to a certain unspeakable strong man. Perhaps the great master took out those origins to save the indescribable strong man. After all, when the lamp of origin is burned out, the life of the most powerful man will probably disappear completely. Fan Changshao spoke slowly, but it made Fan Qingyun and others look shocked. There is actually another side to the ancient rumors. What happened next? Fan Qingyun asked subconsciously. Later, the master dancer took the source of the white mist and went into the darkness. Fan Changshao spoke and sighed. He said that an indescribable being will return. And my ancestors' ancestors' ancestor said that Tiao Dashan promised that he took away the origin of the white mist just to save people, but he would use other methods to turn the forbidden world into a pure land of life. He not only wants the strong man who created the lamp of origin to live, but also wants to use his own method to free the forbidden world from the shadow of darkness again. Hearing this, Fan Qingyun and others felt a little heavy in their hearts. Eons ago, there were such ups and downs. After the death of the 12 ancestors of the people, the one who jumped into the darkness actually went into the darkness alone. What kind of person is this? What is his method? Fan Qingyun asked. Fan Changshao said. I don't know, I guess no one in this world knows. However, he once left a prophecy, the fire of darkness frightens the cold magpies, and the ancestors are bound to the forbidden land. Rediscovering the holy source rises in the wild sky, and the battle flag is immortal and the thunder court collapses. I think that from the moment the change occurred in the Hank Mountains, the backhand he left for the world should have already begun. Perhaps, the fire of darkness has been ignited in the world now. Fan Qingyun thought. So, the fire of darkness frightened Hankei, and something happened in the Hankei Mountains, so you dared to let Peiming and Yao Yao go like the second sentence, because the ancestors are in the forbidden area. Fan Changshao nodded and said. Yes, take a gamble, you can only take a gamble. There was some bitterness on his face and he said. The blood of our ancestors is getting weaker with each generation. I can't stand it anymore. If I don't seize this opportunity, the ancient glory and dream may never be repeated again. Fan Qingyun seemed to understand why Fan Changshao was so persistent. He bet on the future of the Fan family. What about the last two sentences? Fan Peiming then asked. Fan Changshao said. Rediscovering the holy origin and the resurrection of the wild sky. Do you know why there are so many great emperors in the world after the ancestors? Because, the holy soil, holy water, innate imperial gold, lunar and solar energy, etc. that the ancestors refined out of ignorance, were all taken away. There was a trace of hatred in his old eyes, and he said. The ancestors sacrificed themselves, shot down crows every day, and filled up the sea to open up the sky. Only then did they create a small area of pure land of life, and spread the practice throughout the world. But after the ancestors were buried in darkness, there were people in the world who took advantage of the fire of the white mist to extinguish and the ancestors' tribes to be severely damaged to rob the ancestors. Everything in the pure land of life has been robbed, the ancestors can only run and hide. The same is true for Leiting. The reason why Thunder Emperor became enlightened was just because he grabbed the holy source back then. Hearing this, Fan Peiming, Fan Yao Yao and others couldn't help but feel a sense of anger in their hearts. The ancestors created the world and spread the Dharma to the world. However, when the ancestors of the ancestors died in darkness and the tribes of the ancestors were severely damaged, the pure land of life created by their hard work was divided up. This is outrageous. For many years, those high and mighty emperors have hunted down our ancestors, with all their might. Because they simply don't allow the ancestors to stay in the world. This is why we are getting weaker and weaker. In the past, powerful cultivators from our clan have stepped out and even attacked Lighting, but they all died. Tears fell from Fan Changshao's eyes and he said, my ancestors' ancestors, are all dead, in the hands of Lighting. He clenched his fists, his old eyes were scarlet, and said, I have been waiting for the prophecy of Master Tiao to come true, only then will we have a chance for revenge. Now, the opportunity for revenge has come, rediscover the holy source, Lighting Beng. He raised his eyes, looked at Fan Peiming and Fan Yaoyao, and said, the opportunity you encounter this time will definitely kill Lighting, therefore, I want you to enter Lighting's field of vision. Because, you can only deal with Lighting if you enter the pure land of Thunder Dao as the Taoist master of heaven, otherwise, once the Thunder Emperor hides and wants revenge, there will be nowhere to find him. This is the reason why he did all this, dealing with the Zheng family and deliberately appearing in front of Shuijing and others. Revenge. Revenge. Photo Ming, what exactly did you encounter when you went to the Forbidden Mountains this time? Fan Qingyuan spoke to Fan Peiming and the others. Fan Changshao was also very concerned, his eyes filled with expectations. Fan Peiming said, we met our ancestors, and the ancestors' master. He spoke weakly, but Fan Changshao and Fan Qingyuan were both stunned. Ancestor, and the ancestors' master? What the hell is this? Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 1091. A road. A group of mighty men and horses were marching. They all rode electric wildebeests, except for one young man, who rode a green buffalo. Master Shuijing, why did you attack those two people? Are they worth it? Lei Xiao looked at Shuijing with confusion. Now, he is still confused about what Cai Shuijing did. Shuijing smiled and said, it's just a test. They, if I guessed correctly, they should be of the blood of the ancestors. The blood of our ancestors. Hearing this, Lei Xiao's face changed drastically, he immediately reined in his horse and said, they are actually the remnants of our ancestors, I will go back now and kill them. There is an unwritten rule in Lighting. Anyone who sees the blood of the ancestors will be killed without mercy. Kill them. Shuijing smiled and said, kill them, I'm afraid you will regret it, sir. Lei Xiao said coldly, regret? Mr. Shuijing, didn't the Shuidao Emperor tell you that the remnants of our ancestors must not be let go? Shuijing said, that was once. The ancestors were indeed the public enemies of all the great imperial courts, but for those who choose the path of parasitism, the ancestors are not enemies, but treasures. He smiled and said, don't forget, the ancestors came out of the darkness. If you want to find suitable parasitic seeds, who else is more suitable than the blood of the ancestors? They are the real perfect disciples of destiny. Hearing this, Lei Xiao's expression changed. Indeed, Tianming Daizai is looking for those who are born with the origin of darkness, or who have been exposed to darkness but survived. And the ancestors, completely satisfied this condition. The ancestors used fire to walk out of the darkness, so their descendants are naturally the most suitable. I understand, then, we should take them away immediately. Why should we keep them? Lei Xiao asked. Shuijing said, don't underestimate those ancestors. Some of the ancestors still have strong foundations. Once they really take action, you and I will probably not be their opponents. I didn't reveal their identities, but I started to compete with each other just to test their abilities. Those two brothers and sisters are very powerful. Their cultivation is not at the level of Fueo, but under my Kunpeng method, they did not die, but only retreated a few hundred steps. This is enough to explain the problem. Hearing this, Lei Xiao's eyes suddenly became serious. Indeed, Shui Jing is the genius of the Water Dao Emperor Court. Two little cultivators in this rural place were actually able to survive Shui Jing's blow, and the injuries were not very serious. This shows that the Fan family has a lot of background. My two pills seem to be poison, but they are actually two goo insects, called water source insects. They are a unique product of our imperial court and no one can solve them. Shui Jing then spoke and said with a smile. The poison on the surface can be removed with the help of a strong person above the realm of breath's oil. And I can sense whether the poison has been removed through those two goo insects at any time, and I can also find their location. If it is unlocked, it means they still have 11 soil level masters. Then we should mobilize the strong ones to catch them, since they can't escape anyway. If it can't be solved, then just wait for them to come to Lei Emperor City. Shui Jing's eyes were so leisurely and he said confidently. Everything is under control. After listening to Shui Jing's words, Lei Xiao couldn't help but admire him and said. Master Shui Jing should have a far-reaching plan and be considerate, otherwise, Lei Xiao might really ruin things in his impulsiveness. As he spoke, he added. It's a pity. Now we know that the blood of the ancestors is still the best seed for the method of parasitism. Back then, there were many remnants of the ancestors who attacked our Lei Dao imperial court. Shui Jing said, where are they? Are they still alive? Lei Xiao shook his head and said. Kill them all. Their bodies are full of treasures, their internal organs, and used to feed the thunderbirds. The human skin is made into war drums, and the bones are made into steps. Only the heads are left, and they are hung in the pure land of Thunder Road as a punishment. Shui Jing also sighed quietly and said. It's really a pity. By the way, Master Shui Jing, your Kunpeng technique is really terrifying. Lei Xiao praised him sincerely again. Shui Jing smiled and said. This Kunpeng technique is also taken from those ancestors, the bones are stewed in soup, and their magical runes can be extracted. When Lei Xiao heard this, he was startled for a moment, patted his head and said. When you say that, it's such a pity, I can go back and dismantle the steps made of bones to make soup. Is it still too late? Shui Jing said. It's not new anymore. Those magical talent runes have long been lost. Hearing this, Lei Xiao was immediately upset. However, he then thought, there is still a chance. After all, there are still many ancestors in Bianli City. Fan family. What? Ancestor. Ancestor's master. Fan Qingyun and Fan Changshao were both shocked and confused. The ancestors you are talking about, which generation of ancestors are you talking about? Fan Qingyun asked. Fan Peiming bit the bullet and said. The first generation is one of the 12 ancestors. Hearing this, Fan Qingyun and Fan Changshao were even more shocked. You sure? Fan Changshao said. So, you saw their last incarnation? Then, what happened to their master? He felt like he had endless questions. This may involve the great secret of heaven and earth. Quickly, tell me everything about your journey to the Hank Mountains. Don't leave anything out. Fan Qingyun even spoke. Immediately, Fan Yao Yao and Fan Peiming explained everything. After listening, Fan Qingyun and Fan Changshao fell into a shocking silence. Oh my god, a being who even respects the forbidden beasts as a god and demon. An existence that can erase even black smoke. Fan Qingyun felt that this was almost like a dream. The black smoke cannot be extinguished. This is a fact recognized by the world. In a sense, the late Dao Emperor did not dare to go to the Hank Mountains because he was afraid of the black smoke. However, that senior Li was so terrifying, even more powerful than the imperial court. The key is that village. Fan Changshao was excited and said, "The Forbidden Village, it sounds like the pure land of life established by the ancestors back then. Furthermore, that existence also raised an existence that was suspected of being a white tiger. I think he might be the one mentioned by the dancing master. The one who danced like a god." Hearing this, Fan Yaoyao and Fan Peiming were also shocked. Now they heard from Fan Changshao and knew that the most powerful Mantiao Dashan mentioned was unimaginable. Even the lamp of origin should have been made by him. However, I remembered that in the Valley of Origin, Li Fan casually threw away the lamp of origin. The lamp that explains the origin is really nothing to Li Fan. Most likely it is. At this moment, the four of them were in a state of shock. By the way, Senior Li also said that let us help find traces of some people. Immediately, Fan Yaoyao described Li Fan's 10 disciples, as well as Zhang Shui, Xianning, Yun 11 and others. Hearing this, Fan Qingyun and Fan Changshao were even more shocked. They looked at each other. Now it seems that not only our ancestors, but also the other 11 ancestors have become disciples of this big boss. It's terrible. Fan Qingyun Nanjing. As for Fan Changshao, his eyes lit up and he said, "Senior Li's fish-raising disciple is probably the ancestor of the Kunpeng method. And the one named Shui Jing today, used the Kunpeng method." Hearing this, everyone was shocked. This means that there are likely to be clues at the Waterway Imperial Court. Let's go to the small mountain village to meet the senior and ancestors. Fan Changshao immediately spoke and said, "I finally know why the prophecy of Master Tiao said that the thunder path of rediscovering the holy source will collapse. The ancestors and the master of the ancestors have appeared, and the thunder path will collapse. Good night."